So I went on internship to Ghana in a city called Tamale. It's in the northern half of Ghana. And I went there because I felt like God was telling me to. A struggle that I faced was just how strong the culture is here in Tamale specifically. Our ministry has looked like outreach to the Fulanis. They are an unreached people group that spans all of Africa. They're a nomadic, pastoral people group. So the Fulanis go from place to place with their cattle. The rest of the Ghanaians, because the Fulani don't fit in with their tribes and because they're foreign to the country technically, they treat them like they are witches. They treat them like armed robbers. They treat them like drug dealers. And they're none of those things, right? They're this beautiful, peaceful, loving people group. In my ministry, I've made a lot of relationships. The most interesting friend is this man named Isa. He's a Fulani from Paga. Isa is really receptive to the gospel. That was amazing to me to see. I had never really seen that from Fulani before. I took the cattle out with him for the day after we taught a Bible lesson in their house, right? So we were teaching everybody in their tiny little mud hut, and we finish up the story and we're talking, and then Isa gets up and he looks at me and he nods his head. We walk out with all the cattle. And then once we got a few hours into it, we had some downtime and we were looking around and picking stuff off of the trees and eating it. He actually doesn't speak any English, so we communicated mostly through pantomiming and my broken Fafolde. I would pick something from a tree and bring it to him, and he'd look at it, and he would either say welly or wella. So welly is it's sweet, wella is it is not sweet. So if it was welly, right, if it was sweet, we would both split it and eat it and just enjoy it. And if it was poisonous or not sweet, I would take just a little pinch and try it, and he'd take a little pinch and try it, and we'd both spit it out and look at each other like it was gross. And you know, we just connected on that. And then that night he came with us to the church and was explaining to us how the Fulanis all know that Jesus is the right way, but we're scared to leave Islam. It's heartbreaking to see how they're treated in the country, but it's also such a good example to show them Christ's love because they have been brought low. They're ready to come to the church. And since I got here, my spirit has just been drawn to that because nothing else seems worthwhile when you have people who are ready to hear the gospel, are wanting to hear the gospel, and are like a stone's throw away from where you are. The ministry that I've done here is preparing me for my future as a missionary. I think that I will always see myself in a village setting, and you know, the tribes are all different, but the thing that is common between them all is that in the village there's peace. And I feel like that's really prepared me for doing more ministry, just because it's removed my fear, and I know that I can do it because all that people need is for you to really care about them, honestly and truly. You know, I think in my heart I just wanted to go straight to the mission field right after high school. But I learned how to contextualize through BGU, and that puts me in a place where I can actually connect to those around me. And that's a big deal. I couldn't do that before. So I've grown as a teacher and as a minister through the program and through the teaching that I've received. So BGU is worth it, for sure.